Let's talk some risky business. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and as always, every offseason, every team makes some risky moves, and we're going to be talking about the Vikings' riskiest moves of the offseason, one of the best movies of the 80s risky business.
I think I should be sliding across the screen with
What a movie.
Nothing but my tidy whities on. So, yes, risky moves, risky business. What we're talking about, some moves Vikings made that could be considered risky. Before we hop in that, subscribe to the channel, like the vids. We are this close to 7,300 subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed so far.
Let's do this. Hit up that Patreon link down below too. $2 a month. That is it. We're here every damn day talking Vikings, and let's talk risky business. What are we starting with?
Well, let's start with some depth. Let's talk about the tight ends. You look at what the Vikings have at the top: Irv Smith Jr., and then behind him, it's very scary. Johnny Munt, Nick Muse, a 7th-round rookie, Zach Davidson, who looked god-awful last year, and then a blocking tight end, Ben Ellefson. The fact they didn't bring in they did bring in a veteran. Johnny Munt's technically a veteran. Didn't address this earlier in the draft. I thought was kind of a head-scratching move. I know there was a large run there on day 3 in tight end position, but to me, if Irv Smith goes down, this depth is very risky.
Yeah, this is extremely risky. I think they just kind of ran out of money. They had to pick and choose where they were going. They added some nice pieces on defense, and then all of a sudden they have to sign Johnny Munt. I mean, there is some decent free agent tight ends out there. At least if something happens, hey, Chris Herndon could come back and make a comeback of a lifetime.
Yeah, I'm going to say if they do bring in one more guy, I know they keep bringing these defensive players, but in camp at some point, tight end has to be that position that you mentioned. Eric Ebron's floating out there, so there's some options if someone does go down. But I also think we're going to see a career year from Johnny Munt. He'll probably have 15 receptions this year.
Career year, yeah, that is a hell of a year for Johnny Munt. Well, the issue is they're all blocking tight ends. That's what concerns me. Zach Davidson, I mean, whatever. All right, let's go on.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. Let's go. Let's just go to the fact that we're rolling the dice here on a brand new head coach and a brand new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, we got a couple of rookie coaches. Also, the special teams coach, Matt Daniels. He is a fresh little baby there as well. I mean, he was playing in the league in 2015. This is his first stint as actually running the special teams. So Wes Phillips, Kevin O'Connell. I mean, they got some veteran guys on the defensive side, which help. But yeah, this is very risky. They did not bring in an old crusty offensive coordinator that makes us feel better.
Yeah, and we have seen plenty of young coaches have success right out of the gate. Look at Matt LaFleur just across the pond here at Green Bay, having a ton of success early in his career. But
care about him?
Why? He's actually a really good-looking guy. But we don't know. Kevin O'Connell, how's his game management going to be? What's he going to do in crunch time when he has to make a tough decision? Is he one of these coaches who goes for it on 4th down all the time? Is he going to use his timeouts well? Does he have good clock management skills? We don't know any of this. And how Kevin O'Connell actually manages the game is completely unknown at this point. And to me, it's always a risk when you bring in a rookie head coach, especially a year when you're trying to be competitive. I mean, if it was a blow-up year in whatever, but this team definitely made a push to be competitive this year, and now you have a rookie head coach in control of everything.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is he's been around the block. Wes Phillips as well has been in the NFL since like 2007, 2008. He's not just some guy that's been plucked or brand new. So he's definitely been around the block, worked his way up. So at least that gives me a little bit of warm and fuzzies that they've been around. But yeah, extremely, extremely risky. Usually when you see this rookie coach, they bring in some guy that's been in the league for 75 years to run your offense, at least for the first year or two.
Yeah, and there is some veteran coaches. You got Mike Pettin on this roster is one who sticks out, who's had some head coaching experience. Ed Donatel's been around forever. So there are some guys who have been around it long enough. But again, he's the one making the calls, making the choices. And like you said, it's always going to be a risk.
How many times a rookie coach came in and won the Super Bowl? Trivia time.
I would guess 0.
2. Twice. Don McCafferty and George Seifert. And it appears both coaches were handed beautiful stacked teams.
Very, very stacked teams there. All right, what do you got next?
What do I have next? Well, I got risky move, just Kirk Cousins. I mean, we get the new regime. They go all in on Kirk Cousins. They extend him for another year. Big bucks. No whammies. Stop.
Looks like you got the Noid, and that's not the Noid. What is that guy called? Noid was a Domino's guy. Anyway, yeah, and Kirk Cousins, we just haven't seen him, I shouldn't say this, but
no, he's awesome.
No, we've seen him put the team on his back and carry the team back into games, but to be the guy who keeps getting wins, that just doesn't happen for Kirk. I don't know what it is. He's been given some very shitty defenses here the last couple of years when he's been in Minnesota. He's always had a suspect line in front of him.
His coach
hated the dice. His coach hated him. You're rolling the dice on this guy again that he can finally do it. He's got a coach that loves him, Kevin O'Connell. He's got a freaking framed Kirk Cousins Washington jersey in his office. So he loves the guy. He believes in him. And again, I mean, we've seen some great play out of Kirk Cousins. There's not many quarterbacks right now in the league I'd want to have over him at this point. So just do it. But we just hope that we're not going to see the Kirk Cousins who, crumbles in big spots, doesn't show up in primetime games. And that's the fear and that's the risk.
Well, yeah, the risky part in my mind is if this year just completely craps the bed. I mean, if they get through this year and they realize, okay, Kirk Cousins clearly is not our guy, doesn't fit this system, whatever offense they're going to be running, they're on the hook for him another year and he has a no trade clause. So that's the biggest risk in my mind, just the fact that they're tied to him for 2 years instead of one, where at least if it was a shit show, they could hurry up and move on, because a lot of us thought the Vikings were just going to tear it down and start from scratch, and risky.
A lot of that had to probably do with the quarterback class that came out last year. Not a ton of options there. You see one go in the first 4 rounds, whatever the hell it was. So this year's quarterback class much better. So that had probably a lot to do with the Vikings sticking with Kirk Cousins for one more year. And I think the Kevin O'Connell love had a lot to do with it too.
Loves him more than anything. Final risky move of this offseason. Again, kind of like the tight end at the center position. Just saying, you know what, Garrett? Here's the keys.
Yeah, it's like they think they can change this guy. Like whatever they can do, whatever his blocking scheme, that they're going to change who he is. Well, who he is a guy who can't anchor, who can't fend off big, the strong defensive tackles. That is his game. It's always going to be his game. He added 10 pounds. Big deal. I'm sure he has dumps that are way more than 10 pounds. So I'm not thinking this weight change is going to help Garrett Bradbury. I'm very concerned that they think it's going to be okay. Yes, there's Chris Reed, there's Ed Ingram, but those guys aren't true centers. I mean, Chris Reed's really
Ed Ingram is not ever going to play center.
We'll see. I mean, you could convert these guys. That's what I'm saying. The best options to replace him are guys who aren't true centers on this roster. You bring in Austin Schlottman. He's probably not even going to make the team. So it's going to be Garrett Bradbury anchoring this line. In a year you want to be competitive, a year you want Kirk Cousins to have a success, a year we're going to be throwing the ball a lot more than you ever have. And I just can't see that being any better.
Maybe they're going to have these fantastic athletic blocking schemes where it's going to be absolutely perfect for Garrett Bradbury, and they see him as this perfect fit. Positive thinking.
I just tell them to lay down every time. Just lay down. Maybe they trip over you.
Lay down and do the steamroller.
Crappie flop? Oh.
No, okay. The steamroller. Yeah, I mean, Chris Reed, he has played center. He's played it fairly decent. I still think Chris Reed might be our week 1 starting center. I'm not writing that off for a second.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I really hope that's the case. But this coaching staff, everything they've said has been nothing but ringing endorsements for our first round bust from 2018.
All right. Let us know what your riskiest move of the offseason is. And on a good note, it's breakfast for dinner tonight in the Onebar household, and I can't wait.
Wow. Very, very exciting for you. This will also excite you. Do you know what the megalodon is?
I think I saw one of those in gym class.
It's a prehistoric shark. Anyway, its penis was about 20 feet long.